हमारे पास आज ख़ास मेहमान हैं माइल्स यंग ग्लोबल हेड इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग यूनियन के hello sir welcome to our show.
Hello.
And then we have of course our very own Aziz Mewan Sahab, President International Council of ESU. Thank you so much for taking our time.
Thanks very much. First question, my first question is from Miles. Miles, what is the scope of your union? What do you do and what you have achieved till now?
So the English Speaking Union is a global organisation operating in many countries in the world, and its aim is to promote the use of the English language. It does that through a variety of means, and it does it so that it become a useful second language in countries where English is not the primary language. But also in countries like my own, where English is the primary language, it helps people to understand how to speak and to find their voice. So what we find is that kids often in school these days, particularly in the world of social media, find it difficult to communicate. So there's a major crisis of confidence. And speaking, public speaking and debating is one of the ways in which you can overcome that.
Right. What are the sort of causes that ESU is affiliated with? I mean, obviously, English language is the primary focus, but with it comes a lot of other responsibilities.
Yeah, I think that this issue of overcoming lack of confidence is a primary responsibility. Encouraging positive debate. Now, you know, we all use social media and we're all, I'm sure, fans of it, but there are downsides as well. And what we're increasingly discovering is that kids are very, very disturbed by a world where they don't play so much, but they're totally dependent on their devices. Even to the extent that the government in Australia is now considering banning kids under the age of 16 from social media. Legislation will be introduced into Parliament later this year. I'm not sure that's the answer, but one answer is to help to counteract those negative impacts by teaching kids how to debate properly, not to yell at each other, that there's a value in disagreeing, that you can disagree in a courteous way, and that you can, in that way, develop friendship and relationships.
I think we all need to learn.
We will ask later on what techniques you adopt to teach. इस सब आप बताइएगा कि कब से ये आपका इदारा काम कर रहा है और क्या कुछ अभी तक आपने अचीव कर लिया, जो आपके मकासद थे, जो आपके टारगेट थे, आदाब थे, कहाँ तक पहुँच गए?
इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग यूनियन 1918 से 1918 and Pakistan chapter has been there since 1956 और हमारे पास लाहौर में भी हैं, इस्लामाबाद में भी हैं और मुख्तलिफ हमारी एक्टिविटीज़ हैं जिसमें जो है वो डिबेट कंपटीशन भी है, पोइट्री कंपटीशन है, स्पेलिंग कंपटीशन है, जो नेशनल विनर होता है उसको बी सेंट टू लंदन टू पार्टिसिपेट इन द इंटरनेशनल राउंड और वो उसके अलावा भी हमने मुख्तलिफ डाइवर्सिफाइड एक्टिविटीज़ की हैं कि जैसे कि क्वीन मैरी यूनिवर्सिटी लंदन के साथ एक MOU करके एक रेजिलिएंट फ्यूचर पाकिस्तान प्रोग्राम लॉन्च किया है जिससे हम हेल्थ सेक्टर्स में भी काम कर रहे हैं। डाउ यूनिवर्सिटी हमारे पार्टनर है, ज़ैबिस्ट है, नापा है और IBA है एंड वी वर्क विद देम इन प्रमोटिंग द नीड्स ऑफ आवर पॉपुलेशन।
अच्छा अजीज साहब ये बताइएगा, in the bigger cities it's easier to sort of facilitate the children with English language. How do you cover that in the rural areas? जहाँ गांव है, जहाँ छोटे शहर हैं, वहाँ पे कुछ होता है ESU की कोई outlets हैं वहाँ पे in smaller areas of Pakistan, या the workers go there for some certain you know expeditions?
देखिए जैसे मिस्टर माइल्स यंग ने कहा कि इंग्लिश इज़ द लैंग्वेज with which you will communicate with the world.
बिल्कुल.
It has to be there. When we set it aside for some time, that was a mistake. Then we got back to it. Sri Lanka did the same thing.
जी.
So, you know, there are English medium schools in every part of Pakistan. In Hyderabad, in Quetta, not from now, for 100 years, there are English medium schools. Now, this is common for the whole of South America.
Right.
For Europe,
Absolutely.
France, there are English medium school, and English language, when we go abroad, we do business, whether we are in Spain or Portugal or Germany,
Absolutely.
we communicate in English.
Right.
Miles, I want to know, in big cities, people speak English and there are English medium schools and people communicate in English. But as someone said, in rural areas, people don't communicate in English and they don't have that infrastructure, that education system. So, how to deal with it to promote people speak English more frequently and they get benefited from that?
Well, we can't be an English teaching organisation around the world, unfortunately. We're an English speaking organisation. But a lot of our work in many countries is involved in trying to access people who are deprived.
Right.
For instance, in the UK, in the north of England, not exactly rural, but can be,
Right.
the schools are very poor and the educational quality isn't good. So we put oracy programs into those schools. So this is the concept of oracy. You're familiar with literacy, of course, numeracy. Those are all embedded in school syllabuses, but oracy isn't. And oracy is about speaking ability. It's the art of speaking.
Right.
So once people have got some rudimentary knowledge of the language, we can help them through oracy. And that involves them having the confidence to use their voice, actually.
Right.
So there's a difference between the English you learn in a book, grammar, spelling, all those things, and spoken English. You yourselves are probably the apex of confidence in speaking English in your jobs.
Right.
But there's a sort of ladder that you go up. So our aim is to fill in between that bottommost part of the ladder, rung of the ladder, i.e. basic knowledge of the language, and then the confidence to speak it. And that's true in many countries here in Pakistan.
Yes.
Also, yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Aziz, technology is very good in Pakistan and it's coming up recently. We've done amazing in IT globally. Do you think with that, sort of hands-on technology, it would be easier for ESU to also spread out and, do the work that they're doing?
Sure, many of our, activities are now done on Zoom.
Right.
They are done online. We encourage students to participate online also. So we conduct business on Zoom. We do meetings, so things are definitely changing.
Right.
And let me add, you must have seen the profile of Mr. Miles Young. Other than English-speaking union chair, he is the warden of Oxford University.
Yes.
And it's a very big honor for us to have him with us in Karachi. We are thankful to him.
Right. So, Miles, what is the plan this time with your visit? What do you bring? What are the new ideas
Off
that you're
camera,
working?
we were discussing,
yes, we were discussing that behind the scenes. Let's have it.
Two things. One is that the Pakistan operations of ESU are some of the best in the world.
Really?
So my first plan is just to say thank you. No,
Thank you to
really,
Mr. Aziz.
That's right, really. And the second is that there are things also to learn, actually.
Right.
So the program, which Aziz briefly mentioned on resilience, is a very, very interesting program because together with NAPA and Queen Mary's College, it seeks to develop modules in audio theatre,
Right.
which again get to this issue of building resilience amongst people who are mentally ill.
Right.
Now, when we say mentally ill, there's a huge spectrum of illness,
Yes.
yes? So often this mental illness is extreme lack of confidence or
Right.
disenfranchisement.
And so,
And so by engaging these kids in theatre,
right.
you seek to remove those barriers which inhibit them.
Right.
In England, we do it through Shakespeare.
how
We have a
lovely.
performing Shakespeare
Right.
competition, and the US as well. But it's all about the confidence to speak.
Right.
Because actually, the lack of the ability to speak is a kind of disability.
Right.
Because it stops you getting a job, it stops you performing well in interviews, it stops
And
you...
we have
in
observed that people are good at drafting, but when it comes to speaking, it's altogether different ball game. मैं ये जानना चाहूँगा कि people outside, यानी as a Pakistani, we are very much concerned about it. Outside Pakistan, what people are thinking about our country, because there's so much of social media, like bombardment, social media propaganda against Pakistan. So how you deal with it? अजीज साहब ये बताइए आपके experience क्या कहते हैं?
Well, I'm here, I'm part of you, but you know, the question was good from Mr. Miles
Yes, Mr.
Young
Miles,
as to
if you-
how he looks at it.
Yes.
About Pakistan, we have these activities going on, whether it is blasphemy or this or that, which are harmful to our soft image.
Yes.
Yes.
So promoting our female workforce
Yes.
and bringing them and involving them in all sectors. Like my profession, I'm into textile. I'm industrialist. So we employ almost 76% female workers. So having them engaged is a improvement in the softer image.
Yes.
Nice answer.
You know, I think outside there is an image of Pakistan which is sometimes slightly scary to people, and it's very unfounded. So you come here, and
You have an image.
It's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
It's the friendliest country in the world. It's intelligent.
So it's other
Hardworking.
way around.
It's the other way around. But part of I used to work in the advertising business, and part of the problem is that if you've got a brand which has got apparently a problem, the brand has to say something. It
Right.
can't just remain quiet. And the problem is there is no voice of Pakistan.
Yes.
There is no one projecting the soft power of Pakistan. Now, 30, 40 years ago, South Korea had a very negative image.
Yes.
And now it hasn't, because it promotes its soft power through K-pop, etc.,
Yes.
etc. The art scene here in Pakistan is fantastic.
Fabulous.
It beats all the neighbours into
Yes.
a hat. So part of the problem is the lack
Is
of
the image.
voice.
Communication.
Yeah, it's a lack of like individuals. Kids have to find their voice. Almost this country has to find its voice as well.
So it would be safe to say that a lot of things are lost in translation.
Or even not prepared.
Right. Another thing that ESU does is work for mental health, which is a very important and a very pertinent subject to talk about globally.
Yes.
How does ESU contribute in Pakistan on that front?
I think you can answer the question.
Yes, we little bit going backward,
Right.
and then coming to this, I mentioned that there are chapters we have in Lahore and Islamabad.
Right.
Now, your viewers must be watching
Yes.
from all over Pakistan.
They do.
हम चाहते हैं कि we should have one in Quetta, we
Right.
should have one in Hyderabad, we should have one in Multan, Faisalabad. So this is the desire, and if they are interested to open up the chapters of English-speaking union in their respective cities, they should coordinate with us. They don't have to spend a lot of money in it,
Right.
but they will be part of the larger thing which we
Spectrum.
are doing
Right.
for the welfare of our citizens.
Of our city. This is amazing. So you heard it here. Let's say that. तो ये opportunities हर वक्त पाकिस्तान में नहीं होती, and if people are watching in the smaller cities who want to bring ESU into their cities, this is a great opportunity to reach out to Aziz Saab and Miles till he's here in Pakistan. Thank you so much for giving us your time, and thank you for all the efforts that you bring in, and Aziz Saab also. Something in Urdu, Miles? Up nothing?
I won't risk it.
Okay, we'll give you a few rounds.
Teach me afterwards.
Yes. Thank you so much again for your time.